Business leaders and intellectual business community, we come to the third segment of our discussion, the benefits of public-private partnership for our business. And we still have questions for Pak Juwono. Does the relationship between the private, which represented by a few people or few groups of business and few people from the government, is the ideal one, or you think that is not covering the the public-private partnership concept as a whole?
You are trying to develop this healthy relationship between government and business.
Yes.
Let me take, for example, the project for infrastructure, electricity. We need that 10,000 kilowatt program, but we need the private sector, including credits from China, to develop these within the next couple of years. We don't have enough money in the economic sector of government, so we have to work with Kadin, with the private sector, and our Chinese partners to devise this infrastructure program, which is about more than 60% is going to be Chinese financed. We don't have enough money.
Okay.
That is imperative we have this.
So it's already run now.
Right.
Yeah. Pak Darmono, so what do you think that Pak Juwono said that actually the public-private partnership has already run? So in which aspect or in which form do you think it could be better?
Well, it's just not fast enough. It's not happening as fast as what we all would like to see. So there has to be some sort of new vehicle how the communication can be improved. And because we are not only talking with the national government, we have to talk to the local government. Like in the case of the electricity, now the Chinese private sector may come to Indonesia in a big way, but then they have to find land where they can build a power plant, and then they have to get the license from the local authority, and all sort of nitty-gritty. This can only be speed up if the local business people in every province or even every kabupaten, they are involved. And there is no forum for them to do that. And it has to be started in the central government first. Otherwise, it's just some individual who already have a connection before or friend of certain ministers, they can do it. But it creates new problem. It has to be is to be institutionalized in a proper way, a transparent way. Some areas have started now. For example, in Bekasi, where Jababeka is located, we now form a new club, which is called Forum Investor Banten. This is to voice Forum Investor Bekasi. This is to voice the Bekasi industrials people, so that they can talk with the local government, also central government, and also with the parliament, with the media, and also with the premans, because it's also creating problem where there are so many people are unemployed, and they say that what you are doing here. They don't understand if suddenly we want to build, say, new power plant in Jababeka, we build a new power plant, and suddenly the villagers come and say, oh, you have to improve our school, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so this is the sort of thing which why we need to have a club.
All right.
So the cost is shared between a lot of business people, and this club can then talk with the local government, central government, and also the other institutes which we have to talk with. I think this tendency will also grow in other areas. In Magelang, I started also a club in there, starting with a golf club, which has again improved the communication between the government people, the academic, and also business people. In Banten, we are forming the so-called Business Investor Club in Banten. The same thing. But this actually can be organized much better if it is led centrally. if the president himself, for example, want to endorse this is a kind of thing which Indonesia need, we start from Jakarta first. We start with the national club in Jakarta, for example. It's not something like Kadin. This is an informal club. We meet maybe every month in an informal way, but basically it's networking between business people, between common people, and so on. And then we can find ways, solution to do things much faster.
Okay, so this is informal forum that you think can expedite the the seamless relationship between government and the business people, and also to widen the coverage of the coordinations from central government to the local government, and then local business people, and then also maybe the business people in the national scale. I have questions from the audience. Pak Joko, you have a question, please?
Yeah, well, years ago I heard somebody from I think the Minister of Trade in Taiwan, and he said that we try to not to get involved too much in the business sectors, in the micro sectors, because we want less government involvement. If the government is involved too much, then it creates some problems.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Pak Joko.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pak Joko. So there is a very famous notion that the less is better. I mean, the less involvement of government into the business, the better. Yeah. Or even the concept of laissez-faire. Yeah. Then let the society decide themselves of what they want to do, and they will create the controlling power by themselves, and everything becomes better even when the government doesn't rule anything. What do you think in this public-private partnership? Because in the public-private partnership, it means that we invite the government to be more actively involved in the business world by becoming partners.
Well, if you look back in the early 90s, at that time under Pak Harto's government, the name of the game at the time was deregulation. Every day we heard about deregulation, because at the time possibly the state reached to an extent where they feel that now they can control tightly, that the businessmen are paying tax properly and so on. So deregulation became very popular. But then when we came to the reformation, with the democratic system, with the what they call from central autonomy to become
autonomy daerah.
Now suddenly many regulation at the national level, and also many new regulation at the local levels, which is fine. In the sort of system also is fine. But at the same time, this has to be followed up by, that is another way of communicating this one. If you want to make new regulation, please talk to the people who are going to be regulated, so that the regulation will be effective. Otherwise, the regulator make their own regulation without talking to the business people and without talking to the academic. Because if the regulators are discuss first with the private sector, then you can get the right feedback that this is the right one. And then to make sure there is no misunderstanding to the public, then the media and the academic must be involved in the discussion so that they can socialize this new regulation. Because now the local government needs money. The only way to make money is introducing possibly a new regulation. So this kind of thing is possibly very good also to promote the region. But then if the local business people in that region is involved, then it will create a much more useful business or growth in the economy of in that area.
Okay, Pak Juwono, what do you think? I mean, in this article that I have sent you before from the Harvard Business Review, titled "Government in Your Business," it was mentioned that in the United States, the government tried to change the regulations from the restrictive regulations, like if you want to, build a company, then you have to go to certain restrictions on the environmental sides. But then, rather than that, they sell the carbon credit. That if you want to pollute the environment, fine, but you have to pay this much, and then the credit will be traded amongst the companies who has the potential to pollute the environment, and then the price of the carbon credit becomes increasing, and then basically it will select which companies that willing to pay that much, and then it gives incentive for the companies who avoid of doing that kind of business. Yeah. Do you think that this is the right approach, Pak?
Well, as you saw from the climate change conference in Copenhagen, about a week before the summit meeting, President Obama failed to convince the Senate to regulate the carbon emissions program because the lobby of the coal industry was against it.
Was not strong.
They didn't want their businesses to be affected immediately by that commitment. So it was noted as one that would be taken by the government, but not binding. This is where the debate rests on the interest in the Congress, Senate, and the congressional districts, where there are coal industries, there are powerful groups. They don't want to adhere to the cap trade aspects before the other countries, including China and India, adhere to the principle.
All right.
So, coming back to Pak Joko's question, it's a degree of control, degree of regulation that allows unfettered capitalism to be regulated so that the market failure will not happen. Now we are seeing in the United States, Goldman Sachs is fighting this notion of regulating on behalf of market forces. But the question is whether the unfettered openness of the power of Goldman Sachs in getting credit and loan from the government is not, in fact, against its own philosophy of deregulating. Goldman Sachs got more than $20 billion to rescue its plan. But it saved the bonuses of the executives, not the banking industry. That's true.
Okay. Again, we have to have the break for the next segment. Business leaders and intellectual business community, we have to have again a little break, and we'll continue for the fourth segments next after these commercials.